Oh, Eli strong. Geschmack to the top, geschmack to the top. Aha. Oh, ay. Eli. Oh, la. Oh, good morning, Rabbi Isai. Get over here, everybody! Seriously, if you're a guest, please come to the front. This way around. Say Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem. What's your name? Let's go, Dov.
You know my name.
What's your name?
Joel Mizrahi.
From?
Teaneck, New Jersey.
Teaneck, New Jersey. Keep on going. Let's go. Shalom Aleichem. Mwah. What's your name?
Bob Harris from London.
Shalom Aleichem, Reb Dov. Come around. Shalom Aleichem. What's your name? Molandi. Shalom Aleichem. From? New York. Muncie, New York. Shalom Aleichem. What's your name? Eli Dykman from? Borough Park. Shalom Aleichem. Mwah. Shalom Aleichem. I don't know who you are. What's your name? Kiss. A chassid kissed me. Rabbi Yisrael Goldstein from Borough Park. Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem.
Michael Ben Melech.
Ben Melech from Miami. Shalom Aleichem, Michael. Shalom Aleichem.
Ezra Henry.
Shalom Aleichem from? Brooklyn, New York. Shalom Aleichem.
David Newton from Manchester.
David Newton from Manchester. Shalom Aleichem. Say hello to everybody.
Yeah.
Shalom Aleichem. Your name? Oh.
R Eli Shlita.
Shlita. Shalom Aleichem. Gold is green. Shalom Aleichem. Your name?
Ben Schwartz.
Ben Schwartz. Do we have a cutout?
No. He died last time I saw him.
Shalom Aleichem. What's your name?
Shmuley Down.
Shauly?
Down.
D-A-U-M. D-A-U-M. Down. Shalom Aleichem from? Lakewood. I was born in Lakewood. Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem. Rabbi Breskin. Shalom Aleichem. From? Lakewood, New Jersey.
Flower.
What's your name, Avrami Flower? I know. This is a zoche. Wow. Chicago, Illinois. Is in the house. Anybody else? Oh, we got this side. Shalom. What's your name? Sonny Halawani from out of town. Shalom Aleichem. How you doing?
Michael Franco.
Michael Franco from?
Brooklyn, New York.
Brooklyn, New York is in the house. Shalom Aleichem. Brandy.
Moran Nikesh.
Shalom Aleichem. From? Brooklyn. No, you're not from Brooklyn. That's in Brooklyn. Shtuyot. Michael Ben.
Ben Shetrit.
Shalom Aleichem.
Kapar Alecha.
Kapar Alai. Shalom Aleichem. Nochamah, what's your name?
Alex Gilden.
Gilden. Shalom Aleichem. How you doing? From? Passaic, New Jersey. This guy I don't know. What's your name? Rafael the barber. Shalom Aleichem. From? Thank you so much. Wow, unbelievable. Murad, how you doing, Murad? What's your name?
Moshe Ben Murgi.
Ben Murgi. I've never met you before. Where are you from? Miami.
You said it right. You said it right.
Shalom Aleichem.
Yossi Rosenzweig, Manchester.
Rosenzweig from Manchester. Shalom Aleichem, Rabbi Yossi. Shalom Aleichem. Rakov. Grazin. From Flatbush.
Good friend over here.
You're together with the crew.
I'm the first guy to
You gonna have Syrian food tonight?
in Cairo. Yeah, he's
First guy doing the daf in Cairo. Shalom Aleichem. What's your name? Ike Frankel. From? Brooklyn, New York. Hold on, Shalom Aleichem. From Williamsburg. Another place in New York. So what's your name? Full name? Shlomo Nussensweig. K72. K72 from Williamsburg. Oh, I don't know your name. What's your name? Yochanan Itzko. Shalom Aleichem.
Eli Berman sent you in some cookies. Eli Berman sent you in
Wow,
some
beautiful. Oh, that's these guys. Who's next? Shalom Aleichem. Eitan Morris. Wow. I know you are. Shmak. Who else? Oh,
Queens. Emmanuel.
Emmanuel from Queens. Shalom Aleichem. Shkoyach for coming. Anybody else? Shalom Aleichem. Yechiel Davis from Far Rockaway. Shalom Aleichem.
Itzik Horn, not related.
Izzy Gorn. Shalom Aleichem. From
Manchester.
Manchester. Shalom Aleichem. How you doing? Son? Woo! All right, I got to read some emails. No? Shalom Aleichem. What's your name? Moti from Manchester. Shalom Aleichem, Moti. Shalom Aleichem.
I just flew out for Shabbos.
I know. What's your name? Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem from Woodmere. Shkoyach. Yeah, you can go behind me. What happened? Yossi Klein, come to the front. How come you didn't come to the front? You don't want to come to the front? I'll bring somebody else to the front. Wow. What's this? I usually don't open up gifts. From Mr. Anonymous. Oh, it's probably a license plate, no? Yossi Klein is in the house. My boy said, come. Yossi and Ben Schwartz. Come to the front. Yossi, come here. Where are you? You're wasting time for thousands. Ooh, wow. It's geweldig. It would have been nicer if it was in Arabic, no? Beautiful. There's a Palestinian.
MBY.
Wow. Do we have? Shalom Aleichem. Yossi, where's Yossi? Doesn't want to come to the front, okay? If you don't come to the front, I'm going to kill you. On one of my slides. Shkoyach, here, come over here. This is Reb Yossi. Yossi, what's your last name? Yossi doesn't know what his name is. Yossi, the stressor that you feel from Muncie, New York. Stand next to you guys, see if it looks anything like you. He doesn't like it. His wife doesn't think so. So it's good. It's good. Turn around. Turn. Wow, you much better. Give him a kiss. All right. Ooh. Wow, Reben Schwartz. Wow, unbelievable. So here, let's check this out. See if it. No, it's not supposed to look like you because we kill you off.
I know, thank you.
You're
gonna get an email from my mother.
It's not so bad. Nishlech, look at that smile. There you go. Shkoyach Ben, thanks for coming. It's literally, it's overwhelming. Do we have to learn today? I want to hang out the Olam. All right, let's see if I have. You're hooked into the computer over there. Let me just. I have to do some sponsors, no? There we go. So the Parnas HaChodesh for the Koilo is Mr. Anonymous. Parnas HaChodesh. Oh, Mr. Anonymous, Linish was Chayvas Yosef. Parnas HaChodesh is zechus for Rafael Shlomo ben Lifsha and Rivka bas Gila that should be zoche to Zera Shel Kayama Bechor. Parnas HaChodesh, Shauly Rosenfeld, in memory of my dear friend Yehuda Augenbaum. Parnas HaChodesh by the Lock Lebovic families, Lakewood, as a zechus for our families. Parnas HaChodesh, Jonathan and Davydov, in memory of Bechor Davydov ben penir, may the Neshama have an aliyah. By Abba Rennert, in honor of Eli Shlita. I thought I said it yesterday. I just looked at it. I didn't say it, I guess. Thank you for helping me be mesayim another masechta by Camp Horizon. So Masha bas balima's chava for refuah shleima, moti way to Camp Horizon davening for your daughter. Nisim Akilov, mazel tov to Coach Avi Yakubov on your first siyum. Thank you, Michael, for the shidduch. By Viktor Zac, refuah shleima, Liza bat mezanto. So Rabbi Sai, we're holding Daf Gimel Amud Beis. And let me get into the system over here. Okay. Slideshow. Here we go. Let me just make sure. Okay. Says the Gemara in the middle of a sugya. I've never received this many emails, that many that I didn't read all of them. I always read my emails. This time it was double, triple than usual. Maybe in the hundreds. A couple hundred every day. And many of them were criticizing or giving compliments to the cartoons. I don't like the names. I do like the names. Why don't you do these names? Why don't you do these lines? Maybe you do if you be consistent with the lines, it would be better. I didn't understand the word. I never understood so well in my life. It's the most amazing thing ever. You're the worst ever. You're a shagitz. There's no reason why why don't you cover the men's faces? It insults me. You should not cover them. But every ha'ara in the world, yishkoyach for all your ha'aras, I will not listen to any of them. Yishkoyach. All right, so here we are. Yochal shani marba af sheish arayis. Like next to Taisi de Ramaskal, time of the Kasar Rachmana, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. Wow, that's how many lines we left off. Like 25 lines from the bottom. So, as we're going to see later on, there's a Mishnah that brings really strong arayis. They're so strong, like your own mother. Perhaps if your mother marry somebody else, Yochal shani marba av sheish arayis chamuris melu shiyu tzarusayim asurois. Now, if you look at the chart, we're going to start with this guy right over here. This guy is the only resemblance. What's his name? Yossi, what's his name? What should his name be? No, not somebody that you don't like that much. No, Yehuda is junior. That's Baldman. Baldman's okay, not to be confused. By the way, somebody's ha'ara yesterday was, please don't say Baldman. Belin Neder, I'm going to say it over and over just to bother this guy who sits to my left, 2 down. So yesterday we said Baldman. The Baldman guys, the reason why the Baldman, now if he knows why their name is Baldman, maybe I'll stop saying it. Baldman means that they're brothers. It's to represent that they're brothers. That's why they're Baldman. That's time they're Baldman. We have 4 brothers. That's why they are Reuven, Shimon, Levi, Yehuda. They're brothers. The rest of the guys, this guy, that guy, they're not brothers. There's something else. So, Lamaisa, the Baldmans, they're very bald. And Geshmak, they're bald. Baldman. Fine. Yesterday in Koilel, I went on a rant. I was on a Baldman rant because somebody said, stop saying Baldman. Some guy in the Koilel doesn't like me to say Baldman. That's it. Baldman it is. Ha'aras. At the wrong day. You're 1 out of 150 different emails. Anybody else not like to hear Baldman? Anybody else? Geschmack. I'm going to love it. Avi the Baldman. Doesn't like to hear Baldman. Okay. So, here we have Shimon in S. Here, let me get laser. You're right, laser. That was one of the Aras. Please turn on your laser. We listen to Aras. Here's Shimon right over here. He's not related to this guy right over here because he's a Baldman, Shimon Baldman, and then you have a plumber guy from Muncie, not related. Now, the plumber, if you notice, he had 2 wives. He has the Burka lady, and he has this other Yerushalmi lady. Happens to be that the Yerushalmi lady, she is Shimon Baldman's mother. So now, the plumber guy, he dies, and Shimon wants to marry the Burka lady. Can he marry the Burka lady? She's a tzara. So at least we have to at least know one word. Tzara, this whole masechta. Tzara. What is a tzara? They're co-wives of the plumber. Now he's dead. Can Shimon Baldman marry the one that's not related to him? They were both in a marriage together with a man. And the answer is yes. I would think that they can't. Maybe there's a concept of tzara. Rabbi, so let's just everybody needs to know what the word tzara means. So if this co-wife, the mutter one, goes and marries, not in this case, but in the case of that these 2 guys are brothers, if the Baldman brothers, one of them was married to 2 women, and one of them was Shimon Baldman's daughter, not mother, because it's whatever, daughter, then the tzara, the Burka lady, if she married, she was misyabim to a 3rd brother, to Reuven, and Reuven has a co-wife, so it's a co-wife of a co-wife. A tzara means co-wife. Tzara means the co-wife of a co-wife. It keeps on going down. Does everybody understand that? Could you please raise your hand if you know what a tzara is? Only half the people? Okay, we're going to have to go over it again in a different time. Okay. We'll work on it. I guarantee you'll understand it soon. Amra, it's like a magic trick. It looks very complicated today, and looks once you know, it's like, what? That's it. It's nothing. Amris, machois ishto miuchedes shi erva v'chayovim al zdoina kares. So let's go to the next. We have here the case of achois isha. You have two women that are sisters who married two men who are brothers. So just like achois isha, really, in any other time other than Yibum, you're not permitted to marry your wife's sister. So, she's a erva, it's isser. And if you are over on that erva, you chayav a kares. But she could go ahead and marry another brother, right? The brother that's not married to the sister can marry your wife's sister. It doesn't answer her here. Here you have two brothers married to two sisters. Let's take this green woman. She's mutter to marry another brother, Yehuda, Reuven. She's only aser to marry. Oh, Reuven is here. Sorry, Reuven exists in this thing. But you know what I'm talking about. Shimon and Yehuda. She's allowed to marry. She cannot marry Reuven because Reuven is married to her sister right over here. But she's not aser to the other brothers. And her tsar is aser. So, here we go. Check this out. Watch. Yeah. Okay. That would be aser. Yeah, let's do it again. Look at the screen. Okay. She came in with the umbrella. Reuven is not allowed to marry or be miyabim her because Reuven is already married to her sister. One of the 120 emails was that why don't I put a little clip on the bottom left or anytime like one of those comic strips. So okay, I'm trying it out. Here it is. Here's the first slide is on the bottom left corner. Just to help up a little bit with the slides. Okay. So it was better when I held up a paper and he was able to see the whole thing. Now we're going from thing to thing and he forgot. One of the many. And also about the Baldmans. I shouldn't say Baldman. Some guy said I shouldn't say Baldman, whatever. I'm not joking. I said Beli Neder. I'm going to say Baldman over and over for the rest of the year. So they made Atar Sandarim on the spot. I'm not joking. They went. They were Mata Neder. They said, don't, please. A lot of good learning in the call. Yeah. You'll see today's shiz. I'm going to be on the way. So that's be similar. This mother you can't marry. She's too much of an erva. You can't marry her. You don't have this whole concept of yibum with her. So it's gone. These 6 are not on the list. It's only the 15 of our Mishnah, not the 6 arayos, the total 21 arayos in the Torah. Those 6 don't apply to our. So in other words, the Isser must come from Eishesach. When there's a arayos that's Eishesach, you're the wife of your brother, and now it's Yibum, then it's okay. But if the Isser comes from another Isser, like a mother, something else, then it doesn't apply at all. You can't marry the brothers, same with Torahs. If you don't have all these conditions, the only time you have the idea tzara, here, let's go back to that thing. Here. You see how Shimon is allowed to marry a tzara. Here, you see the green line? Shimon is marrying the tzara. Why? Because the only time you have an isser to marry a tzara, a co-wife, is when the two of them fell to Shimon b'yibum. But over here, they didn't come to yibum. There's no yibum here. Shimon is not related to the plumber guy. So there's no yibum. So Memele, even though the co-wife of this woman he wants to marry is his own mother, she doesn't impart a isser to the Berka lady, to the tzara. Okay, moving on. Next. Okay. Hope you didn't see that one. Zog the Gemara. Azar Shemano Einish Benayin. Okay, anytime the Torah gives a punishment, the Torah first warns you, don't do it, and then the Torah gives you a punishment. How do you know there's a punishment? Omakra. Okay, so we have a pasuk that gives you a einish. Says the Gemara, time of the Kasav Rachmana Aleh. This idea that Achois Isha is Asur Because it says Allah. So very interesting. We have a Havamina to tell me that in a crazy situation, where Shimon, his own daughter, where's that? I don't want to go to that slide. Okay. Shimon's own daughter falls to him liibum. There was a Havamina that a person should be miyabim his own daughter. Why? How's it possible? It doesn't make any logical sense. My timer, but there is some logic to it. Perhaps the mitzvah to do something, the positive, overcomes the negative, the loisase. There's a mitzvah to be miyabim, and there's a avera to have relations with your own daughter, your husband, your wife's sister. All these arayas, maybe they don't exist now. I have a big mitzvah to do yibum, and an asay pushes off a lois asay. A positive commandment pushes off a negative commandment. The Ramban asks, what's the havamina that why should a positive commandment push off a negative commandment? A negative commandment, we know, always gets big einchim. You get misa, karban, all these things. A positive. If you don't do a positive commandment, nothing happens. You get misa for not wearing tzitzis? What? Oh, did you go to a shir the other day? Yeah, and if he doesn't? Okay, where do you kill somebody for wearing tzitzis? So the Ramban says a beautiful thing. He says, and I'll just give a mashal, my own little mashal. If a person goes out to buy his wife a gift, he stops work, he's in the middle of work, he goes, buys her, not an expensive gift. Small little gift, and he writes her a nice note. What shows more closeness to the wife? That act, or if she tells him, if you step on my sponja, I just cleaned the floor is wet, if you step on it, I am going to do this here. Oh, this is not it. No, it's not it. I put the wrong one in. Mine was sneas. We can't even show this one. Don't show this one. Mine had tzitzis. Okay. Oh, seriously, I didn't plan this like that, but I did print it. I thought I was going to show it like this. Here, this is my little thing. You can see what I do afterwards. I did not intend to show that. Okay, so whatever, Yosef, we'll edit that. But I'll go upon him. Because we don't have any non-sneas in this year. She's not covering her hair, but whatever. Maybe she is, maybe it's a sheitel. But he is wearing a yarmulke underneath that frying pan. If he warns his wife, if the wife warns him, if you dare step on my thing, I'll give you a whack on the head. And he doesn't. Is it out of closeness? So the point is like this. Ahava, loving Hashem, doing something for Hashem, going out in the middle of work and buying a lulav and esrog, spending money, and then saying a bracha b'kavana is like writing a note. You spent the money, you did a positive. It's so much more powerful and it shows so much more close to Hashem than somebody being fearful of Hashem. He might get some Gehenim if he does something. That's Yira. Ahava is a lot more powerful and shows the closeness of a human being to HaKadosh Baruch Hu a lot more than Yira. So therefore, the Asay is a lot more powerful than the Lois Asay, says the Ramban. Just the idea is that by the Lois Asay, he took action. He did an action that was against Hashem, and therefore he gets a bigger punishment. Where the Asay is that he's not doing the action, and Memela, he didn't buy a lulav. You don't get a large punishment for not writing a letter to your wife, not buying her a card. You don't get a big punishment. But if you do a negative, you mess up her floor, then you deserve a punishment. I don't know, a frying pan on the head, but you deserve some sort of punishment. So Hashem punishes for lois assays, not so much for the assays. It says Gemara, my time that mean lois assay v'dochel lois assay. Hey, madam mean lois assay v'dochel lois assay greda. Yosef thought he's going to have an easy day today. He's going to edit it and just add another 25 minutes to him. Lois assay greda. Lois assay just bikarov midachi. Okay, that's very good and fine. A regular lois assay. A simple lois assay. Don't talk lashon hara. I don't know what. But a lois assay that has kares, it's so severe that a person loses his life over it, like some of the arayis we had yesterday. In moral relations, sometimes they don't get a misas bezin, they get a kares. So who says that a say of buying a lulav is going to push off such a huge aveira of arayis? So what's very interesting is, Rabbi Yisai, this question of asay doich lois asay is going to take over the sugya now for like 5 days. We're done with the Yevamos now. We're going to go through Shas, Tzitzis, and Shatnas, and all these sugyas. It's going to take 4 or 5 days, literally. We're going to go on a tangent, and when we get there, all of a sudden the Gemara is going to give the answer. We're going to have to go back to this thing right here. How do we know? Why would I even think that a Yavam could be Miyavim the Yevama and be over Isser Arayis with his own daughter and be Miyavim her? Oh, because of Esel, but maybe it doesn't apply to cars. Maybe it does. We go through all these different sugyas and different inyanim. Be familiar with Shas a lot better by the time we're done. But we're not going to have a lot of these charts with the Yavam, Yevam, and Tsar. We're going to get back to that eventually. Says Gemara, how do I even know this idea that you could push off a lois, even a very simple one? Loy silba shatnez. Gdilim taseloch. It says don't wear shatnez. Shatnez is clothing that has tsemer upishtim. By the way, a story. Me and my shver, we went to buy. He gave me a gift, a gorgeous, expensive suit for my son's wedding. Most expensive suit I ever had. Not going to say how much it was, but it was over $5,000. He bought me a gift for my son's chasana. No, it was not a brioni. I don't even know. So when I wear it one day, I'll show you. It's not even so nice. Whatever. It was a black suit. It was expensive. I said, buy it. He's buying me a suit. Buy it. Anyways, he bought himself a suit not as expensive, and it was a day before. So they told us in this place. They said, "Oh, we're gonna do the shatnez for you. We know how to do shatnez." And then, look. So, anyways, so the day of the chasana, I went to the shatnez guy and I said, "Oh, look, he took out the things. It's shatnez." Gary. So the guy said, "No, just because they took out shatnez means nothing." And he did me a whole favor. He looked at it and they told me both of the suits are shatnez. They both had shatnez left in. My shvers, I think, had the whole piece in there. Mine had a lot of threads in there. And then he found me got to do it, and at the end I didn't wear the suit at the chasana. So shatnez is a very important thing. Gdilim taselach. Gdilim taselach.
Great story.
Yeah, great story.
Fantastic.
No, what I realized afterwards that I bought tons of suits from that guy, and I relied on his shatnez, and you can't be somich on anybody. If it doesn't have a from guy that says shatnez, even though the guy was Jewish and everything, and he says, I know shatnez, I always take it out. Don't listen. We're not finishing. We're not going to finish here until we finish the daf. We have to finish everything because Shmos Shabbos is very short. 2 things. Don't wear shatnez, wear tzitzis. Now we're going to sugya smuchim muchach. Smuchim means when two psukim are right next to each other, you can learn one thing from the other. So since the Torah says don't wear shatnez, then the Torah says you should wear tzitzis, it teaches you that you should wear tzitzis even though they're shatnez. We'll see. So I have a few proofs because it says in Fortune Tehillim that smuchim lad lo'ilam asuim be'emes v'yasher. Close things are done with emes and the fairness. They're good. Here you could show the screen. What does a mukesh chin look like? They're actually people nebuch that have this machla. Let's say, what is it called? Neurofibromatosis. Type 1. That, thank you, Dr. Ruve, what's his name? Levi. He's Levi. Levi Baldman. So, a mukesh chin that has a Yevama. She's married to the brother-in-law. The brother-in-law dies. And now she falls to this mukesh chin. What? She has to marry him? Because the Torah says, special halacha that she doesn't have to marry him. Shein chaismin oisa. Look at this picture. Shenema leisachsim shoy bedishoy. Do not muzzle. This is the Issa Deraisa, this picture, right over here. He's over in Issa Deraisa. Take your bull and plow a field with him when his mouth is muzzled and he can't eat from the grass. And here you have the idea of smuchim one passing next to the other. Okay. That what? You should not muzzle the woman if she doesn't want to marry her. What does it mean she doesn't want to marry her? Tais is of the opinion, dafka, if you have this kind of terrible melosis, type A, that it's also. But if it's stam, the guy's a shtickle off, he's missing 2.5 screws, no, she's stuck with him. Rashi says no. Any good excuse, she's out of it. Okay, machlokes rishonim. Vam Rav Yosef, afilu leman deloy darash smuchim ba'alma. Even if you don't hold of this idea, concept that two psukim are next to each other, I can learn one from the other in all 4 chumashim, b'mishnah Torah, but the final chumash, the 5th chumash of Dvarim, when Moshe Rabbeinu repeats himself, Mishnah Torah is repeating over the halachas. You would think it's because it's a repetition. No, the Gemara is going to explain to us because over there it's special. Each limud has a special thing to it. I'll prove to you. Rabbi Yehuda doesn't darshan in the Chumash Breishis, Shmois, Bamidbar, Vayikra. Doesn't darshan it. When it comes to Dvarim, all of a sudden he darshans. So you see this idea. Why? Mishnah Torah darish. Now this parish of tzitzis happens to be in Dvarim, so he is going to hold up the idea of smuchim anyway. This it's gewaldic because we're going through sugis one after another, different concepts that we didn't know, we forgot about. You shouldn't let the witch live. There's a guy goes to the Rav. He says, I had a daughter. What should I name her? The guy opens up the Chumash. Gewaldic name. Bechashefa. Rav, I have a problem. My mother-in-law's still alive. Okay, so Mechashefa. Look at these psukim over here. If you can even see them, I can barely see them. I'm right next to the river. If a woman has relations with the animal, both of them must die, even the animal. The meim bam, says the pasuk. Then you go a few psukim later, oiv and yedoini. It's a type of sorcery, magic. You talk to Neshamas, the future, the past. We're going to see in a second. The meim bam. But it says, look at over there, I forgot to highlight it. Be'even yirgemu. Here, you see Be'even yirgemu, right over here. So that tells me that how do you die? With skila. Be'even. And Memela, since it says the main bum, by oiven yidoini, so I know that the same type of misa is by this woman. Because they're next to each other. Did I skip anything? This guy that takes a bone and puts it in his mouth and he starts talking to a Neshama, you're going to stone him to death? It's the same thing as what that woman did? Just because the psukim are next to each other? The Baldwin brothers, Lamaisa, the Geschmacke cartoons, no?
No, the character's the question. Are you going to be psycho of the Matshefa just because?
That's what I said, yeah. You're thinking, you're a Baldwin guy, you're thinking about the whole Baldwin thing. Okay, so there's another reason he doesn't like the smuchim, but he says that why do they pick on them? They're part of the sorcerers, the witches, to teach us and to learn from there. Okay. That's not in Mishnah Torah, that's in the rest of the Chumash. But in Dvarim and all the listen to this. Everybody knows that if a father is married to a woman, you cannot marry that woman, your father's wife. And if you get married to a woman, your father can never marry her. She's a daughter-in-law. She's a kala. Tremendous chiddush. If the father violated a woman, or the son violated a woman, those are not women. Those are not women. They're not married women. And the Torah only answered a father to his married daughter-in-law, but not a nusas b'noi. Not a victim of a violation. And not the same thing to the father. You're allowed to marry, according to Rabbi Yehuda, you're allowed to marry. Let's see inside. You're allowed to marry them. They're not considered, they're married to them. Rabbi Yehuda ba'anusas. Rabbi Yehuda ba'anusas saviv mfuta saviv. And Rabbi Yehuda says it's asur. My time of the Rabbi Yehuda, where to get it from? Of course, he's going to get it from Smuchim D'chsiv. Lo yikachish yasei shlaviv, v'lo yigali knaf aviv, knaf shura aviv, lo yigali. Even if he was ma'anas a woman, it's also asur. Not only if the father married her, that's talking about oynes, so we're talking about also what? Right before that, so we did smuchim now. You see that Rabbi Yehuda in Devarim does smuchim. V'Rabbanan, you have a samach like the Amres. It's not a good smuchim. Akabanim, you see that Rabbi Yehuda holds, even though typically he doesn't darshan smuchim, over here darshan smuchim, and that's why by tzitzis also, which tzitzis is in Devarim, he is going to darshan smuchim and tell you that you're allowed to do shatnez tzitzis. We don't have time. I like the question, but we don't have time. Sorry. No, I skipped. V'Rabbanan. You see what you did to me? No. V'Rabbanan. You have a samachlei, kid the cameras. Because it says whatever you go to but kitzer, it's not 100% smuchim. B'Shemeres, Yavam, Hakosov, Medaber. If we're talking about an ant, I'm not going to do a graph for this. An ant. Your father's brother is married to a woman. That ant is also to a nephew. So if your uncle dies and your aunt falls to your father, and you go and you marry your aunt, you're over on 3 Yisurim here. 2 plus 1. You're not number 1. You're not allowed to marry a Yevama. The Yevama has to go to the Yavam, and you're not the Yavam. Your father is the Yavam. You have no business over there. You also have Legal Knaf Aviv. That's what we do with this possible Legal Knaf Aviv, that it's your father's Zika, okay, we're not going to go into, and it's your aunt, auntie, what do they call it in England? Aunt. Well, my time at the Darish, what's the reason? Why is Devarim different? And it's very interesting. Because it's very hard to do smuchim in Bereshis, in Shmois. You know why? They're going to say, this pasuk is over here, this pasuk is over here. Well, there's no mukdim and mucha b'Torah, so they don't really belong here and there. It's all, they just happen to be there. Devarim is different. In Devarim, it's forced, it's pasha that this is what it is, and we're going to explain. Because there's extra words. This whole thing, should have been in the whole parsha of Arais. What is it doing by itself over there? And so that's muchach. It's a svara. You have to look at it and say, something's going on here, it's there to teach me something. And if you say it's because it's extra, don't marry your father's wife. What does it mean? Don't unveil your father's robe. What's the pshat? So the words are extra. Words are extra. Teach us a limud. Sponsored by Moshe Horn in honor of Shmuley Sugar and the original Sugar Shaker. Sponsored by Moshe Kinsbursky in honor of Brian and Talia Edgar. Tzitzis also. Why do I learn that you're allowed to wear shatnez on your tzitzis? You're allowed to take a tzemer chut and put it into pishtim chutim. Either one of the reasons, we'll see, or maybe a combination. Why does it say the idea of shatnez over here? So let's see if I have this thing here. I do. Here, this is just the doida here. No, that's something else. This. Okay, so here are 2 psukim about tzitzis. Ubeged klaim shatnez lo ya'ala alecha. It shouldn't be on top of you. Like silbas shatnez. You shouldn't wear shatnez. Says the Gemara like this. Why do I need both of those psukim on the chart? One of them is extra to teach us something. Says the Gemara, it's no. I need both of these psukim. Let me ask you a question. Anybody know the answer here? If I go into a store and I buy a suit, and the suit has shatnez, am I over on shatnez? Yes or no? I know the shatnez in it. I know the shatnez. Over? No. Wrong. Huh? Hillel says it's machlokes. Any Sfardim in the house? Tomer. Are you allowed to wear a suit going to the thing? Michael Ben Shitrit. Are you allowed to try a suit in a shop if it has shatnez? The answer is the Shulchan Aruch Paskin is usher to try on a suit. I couldn't believe it when I saw it. It's based on the Rambam. And what about if I'm trying to get out of the border? A lot of people coming into Eretz Yisrael, you see in the middle of the summer, they're wearing coats and minks and all sorts of stuff. They're trying to go through the meches without getting caught. So is that usher or not? According to the Rambam, it's usher. According to the Ramah, the Ashkenazim say it's mutter. That's why most Ashkenazim in the room think, oh, it's mutter. But I believe it's a problem for Sephardim. Check into it. I don't know how it's possible even to buy a suit. Certain brands are, what?
100%. You know for sure.
Yeah. Every good suit today. Not Hugo Boss. I said good suits.
Hugo Boss.
Any Canales and the Briones and anything. Fine. But you don't. If it's 100%, you don't wear it. And Ashkenazim, if it's 100%, would wear it because it's not a levisha. It's just a medida. So how do you do this? The Torah is saying any type of wearing. People in those days, they used to go around selling garments, and they would wear it because it must be like a levisha. A guy selling has no hana from it. He's not trying to protect himself from the sun. He's not trying to protect himself from the rain. That's a whole sugya. You have to make sure you're not doing it by accident. Okay. Because Rachmana loy silbash have amina dafka levisha the nafesh haniyasa. Levisha means mamish or levisha. I'm thinking to myself, I might be wrong, like almost like a talis gadol that we do today. It's like, it's on you, but it's not like you're not wearing it. You know what I mean? Could be I'm wrong because then they'll say, well, then you're not mekayim the mitzvah. I don't know. Because Rachmana lo yala alecha. In kain lichter Rachmana lo silbash shatnez semeru pishtim lamali. It's time out. Because Rachmana lo yala alecha. Says the Gemara, Im kain lichter Rachmana lo silbash shatnez semeru pishtim lamali. Why the words semeru pishtim are extra? Why? Like you see in the chart. It says the words Tzemer Pishtim. No, you don't see in the chart. Ubeged Klayim Shatnez. Yes, you do see Ubeged Klayim Shatnez. Lo Yalo Lecha. Now, what does beged mean? So I'm going to go back to the chart before. It says by Tzaras Vahabeged. You see in the beginning Tzaras Tzemer Pishtim. For the rest of the Torah, he holds that anytime the Torah says the word beged, it means those two things. It has to have those two types of threads. Tzemer Pishtim. V'tan and the Be'er Yishmael Hoyel V'nemru B'Torah Stam Begodim U'Parach HaKasav B'Echamem Tzemer Pishtim. Like we just saw, the Torah says Dafka by Tzaras. It says the word beged, and it says Tzemer Pishtim. Now I know I've called Tzemer Pishtim the rest of the Torah. It's both Tzemer Pishtim. Tzemer Pishtim the Kazar Achmana Lamali. So then why does Torah repeat itself? Lafnuyei. This is again to teach us the extra halacha. That what? That tzitzis could be shatnez. It's not extra. If it was extra, I could learn that tzitzis could be shatnez. So I want to show you something real quickly. I brought it here. I thought it was very interesting. We were learning the sugya in the koilel. First of all, this is tchelas. I'll show you in a second. But this was very, very interesting. I was wearing these tzitzis. They're still dirty, so don't. If you smell something, whatever. A guy comes over in koilel and goes, "Hey, your tzitzis are no good." I take a look. This is what it looked like. All the whites were gone. The tchelas was still there. Okay, whatever. I thought it was interesting. And then I went home. I put on a pair of tzitzis. The same thing happened. I don't know what's going on. Almost all the whites were gone, and the tchelas were still there. I thought I was dreaming, so I put on a third pair. I'm not. I kid you not. Here, the two tchelas are here. You can see 2 tchelas and three whites. It's supposed to be how many? 6. Okay. Anyways, so I thought I'd mention it. It doesn't. No, it's not maki, but I didn't have the strings. The rip. I didn't have enough. I didn't have enough strings.
That's what the Ram understands commission means. Is that all the white strings to be ripped?
I hear. That's if you hold 100% tchelas. If you're wondering why I'm doing tchelas, I'll tell you real quickly because we have a lot of time now. This shul right behind me, real quickly, because people don't understand. I need to explain myself real quickly. There's no Rav in the shul here. I'm here for 8 years. They asked me to speak once. And they asked everybody to speak. I spoke once, and I gave a drasha about tchelas. I took the whole sugya. I learned it very well for 2 weeks. I gave a drush. After the drush, people came over and said, "Well, you're very convincing only to the side of tchelas. So why don't you wear tchelas?" I'm like, okay. So I started wearing tchelas. The only cash I had was how come Reb Chaim Kanievsky doesn't wear tchelas? And that's the main question. But somebody sent me a video, and I have the video. Reb Chaim Kanievsky says, if you believe 100% that it's real tchelas, you're mechuyev to wear it. And I believed it, so I wear it. But that was the last time I ever spoke to you because I was worried, like I was going to give a drasha next time. You're not allowed to eat chalav stam, and he was like, "Oh, you can't eat chalav stam." So fine. Zok the Gemara. Where are we? Well, you're pulling me back all the way there? We did that already.
And if you did it already, then you didn't do it.
Okay. Vakati Yitzrich. Sokedai v'chamina ha'lohi d'loi nofesh hana'asa aval levisha the nofesh hana'asa kol trei mini asra achmana. If, when is it only tzemer pishtim? When there's a lot of no. But, I'm sorry. Yeah, aval levisha the nofesh hana'asa. Hala means you just throw the beged on you, like a scarf, like a shawl, whatever it is. So in that case, it's tzemer pishtim. But aval levisha the nofesh hana'asa. But in a situation where you're wearing begadim and there's tremendous amount of anah, culture mini asra achmana. Maybe you're not allowed to wear too silk and linen. I don't know what. Because Rahmana tzemer pishtim. That's why the Torah says it. So the Gemara is trying to say that we don't have any extra words to teach us that you're allowed to mix shatnez with tzitzis. Imkei lishta kraminei v'teisi shatnez ma'alah. Going back to this pasuk on the screen, it says in both pasukim the word shatnez, and I'll learn from there. So Mela, I don't need the word tzemer pishtim. It's coming to tell me that let's keep on going. We got to go a little bit more. I know we got a lot of guests and geschmack, and the Motzei Shabbos is going to be a disaster. We have to do a short share of Motzei Shabbos. Zok the Gemara. V'tani the Rebbe Shmuel. Right? So the bottom line is, tzemer pishtim is extra to teach us that you dash in smuchim, that it's extra to teach us that you do smuchim, that the pasuk of shatnez and the pasuk of tzitzis are next to each other, and it's mutter. V'tani Rebbe Shmuel time of the kosher rachmana tzemer pishtim. Holocaust of klein b'tzitzis have a minute of asr rachmana. I'd have a havamina that you cannot put tzemer tchelis in your tzitzis. V'ksiv v'asulem tzitzis akanfe bigdayim. It says you should do tzitzis. V'tani the Rebbe Shmuel called begadim tzemer pishtim. We already learned that when the Torah says beged by tzitzis, it means tzemer pishtim. V'amar rachmana avalei tchelis. You have to do tchelis. What does tchelis mean? A mitzvah deraisa, by the way. Look into it. You might want to wear tchelis. Mitzvah deraisa. Why? The only way you do tchelis is on wool. That's it. You cannot put this blue dye on cotton, on anything else, on silk. Only on wool. And the Torah says you should put tchelis in your tzitzis. And beged means even linen. Tzemer pishtim. Wool and linen. So even if my tzitzis is linen, I'm mechuyev to put wool into my linen. So you see, the Torah says, don't care about shatnez. Now, how do you know tchelis amro? How do you know that it's wool? Midasheish kitna. Go to the next thing. I skipped one. Oh, here we go. It says in Yecheskel, bigdei pishtim yilbeshu v'layala aleim tzemer. So we know that a beged is pishtim v'layala aleim tzemer. And then we know that we have 4 things that a kohen wears: tchelis, argument, tilashana, and sheish. Once we know that sheish is pishtim, that means the other 3 things in that pasuk, tchelis, argument, tilashani, are the only other thing is tzemer. The top pasuk says pishtim and tzemer. A beged is either linen or wool. Now, what is a beged comprised of in the Beis Hamikdash? These 4 strings: tchelis, argument, tilashani, and sheish. Sheish is linen. That means everything else in the list is wool, including tchelis. Tchelis is wool. Okay. How do I know that tchelis is wool? Midasheish kitna. Once I get rid of sheish, and I say sheish means linen, so the rest are wool. Tchelis imru. So the bottom line, what's the question? What's the question? The question is, why do I need a special yitur of smuchim to say that I could put tchelis into my tzitzis and make shatnez? The Torah tells me to do shatnez. It's before the Torah. Take a tzemer string and put it in a pishtim beged. I don't need a special limud. Rava had a contradiction. Siv hakanov minkanov. You should anything you put tzitzis in the corner of your beged, it should be whatever the beged is. If you have a silk beged, put silk strings. But then it says only linen or wool, not silk. So which one is it? Is it silk or it's not silk? Okay, it's a contradiction. Think about it as type O blood. Type O blood, you can give blood transfusion to anybody. But if you have type A, only type A. So, Tzemer Pishtim is like type O. It's good for everything. You can put it on silk, you can do anything. But silk tzitzis only works for b'mina poitrim. Silk works for silk, type A works for type A, type B for type B. So Memela, what? Oh. So I need this pasuk. Why? Because I would think, Tana Beis Shmuel would think to do this limud. Kamash Malini doesn't do it. But we're going to see in a second. But Tana Beis Shmuel, less like the Rava. At the end of the day, Tana Beis Shmuel holds what? That Tzemer Pishtim every time. He holds that only Tzemer Pishtim is Chayiv and Tzitzis, and all other Begadim are Potter. Midaraisa Potter, completely. So you never have this Havamina. Silk, not silk. Silk is not even part of Tzitzis. But there's the Rava. Okay, says Gemara Itzrich. Still need it. Okay, the Rava, maybe Rava is a little bit right. So, that it has to be, maybe he has a point. Be consistent. You have a beggar that's wool, put wool tzitzis. You have a beggar that's pishtim, pishtim. And only when you put tchelas, only in one situation. When I would have a havamina like that. The only mitzvah of tchelas is when you have a wool like the Hasidim. They have wool begadim, then you put on tchelas. But if you have pishtim begadim, you don't put on tchelas. Maybe I have such a havamina. I would tell the pishtim, pishtim tzemer loy. Because Rachmana tzemer pishtim. Dafilu tzemer le pishtim. I know, if you read this fast, it's like the most confusing thing ever. Let me read it fast for you for a second. How can have been kind of Rachmana? I would lay tzemer letzemer pishtim pishtim. V'chavina tzemer letzemer tzavei letzemer pishtim pishtim tzever loy. Because Rachmana tzemer pishtim. Dafilu tzemer pishtim pishtim tzemer. Have a wonderful day. Wow. Abba Rennert, Hashem, it's going to be a tremendous simcha. The doors open at 7:45. Shir at 8:30.